So what do I eat now? That's been a question that's been asked. And especially today of all days. Today is my birthday, and I wanted to make this special video and share with you all because I am, wait for it, 50. I'm the big 50. And I think it's important that we address those of us that are over 50 or even over 40 because the body changes so much. I think that we should touch on the physical, the mental, and the spiritual health of being over 50. If you watched some of my videos in the past, or if you're new, I will share with you about how I came to intermittent fasting, especially when it came down to my physical health. In the past, let's see, I think it's been about 4 years ago, I had a hysterectomy, and that was due to fibroids. It was something I was trying to hang on to my uterus as long as possible, and it was about 9 years and I was in a lot of pain and a lot of bleeding, and it just, at that point, you had to say enough is enough and let it go. So basically I was about 45 when that happened, because I felt then, hey, I didn't have any children because of that problem, and I guess 45 was my last hope in thinking I can hang on to this organ that one day I would actually heal it, which I was trying to do naturally on my own. So the other thing that ails me as a 50-year-old is that I have chronic anxiety. I have always had anxiety probably since the Air Force, and I was in the military, for those of you that don't know, and I was a military police. Literally, I've ended up in the ER multiple times over the years, thinking that I was having a heart attack, and it wasn't that. But nevertheless, it certainly is something that I had to get under control, and intermittent fasting certainly helps so much. I've been diagnosed with a touch of colitis, and colitis is in your gut. And again, the emotional, mental side of health also affects your physical health, right? And I feel that the emotional state that I was in with a lot of anxiety also attacked and manifested from my gut. Finally just got diagnosed about 2 years ago. I'm okay, and that is when I made that decision to get on over and start fasting. And I read and read. I learned a lot. I watched a lot of documentaries. I watched YouTubers, and I figured I got to do something different because I'm not going to end up in the hospital and long-term having disabilities that would keep me from actually living my daily life. I'm also a caregiver, and it's very important. That's why this channel was started, because of care for the caregiver. And I really want us to all connect, because all of us in some form or fashion are a caregiver. And for me, I'm a caregiver for a parent. And that takes a toll on you. And statistically speaking, we could come up with more chronic illness and ailments more than the actual patient that we're taking care of. So we got to stop the cycle, and we got to stop the madness, and this is where I am. I wanted to touch on the things that I cut out doing since being 50 years old, which is not very long, obviously it's today, but being middle-aged, I have cut out a lot of things. For one, I don't drink soda. And really that started back in the military, and I would be out in the heat for 12, 13 hours, standing all day. I was a military police, and you're running around the desert, basically, is how I got to Las Vegas. And I found people were passing out, literally, and they were drinking soda all day. And I said, well, there's something to that. And I found that the soda was just dehydrating you more than you actually thought, because it's basically chemicals. Stick to the water and tea and the occasional alcohol beverage, of course, but most of all, stick to the water. And I also do intervals running. I don't run the whole 90 minutes. I just do intervals of 1 minute at a time, take a break, and then maybe do 2 minutes at a time, take a break and keep walking for about 5 minutes and then do another intervals and so on. And so I find that burst of sprinting certainly is a better benefit for me than just jogging the whole time. The other thing that I no longer do since being 50 is that I no longer overpromise myself to others, because I want to say yes to everybody, but I have to say no sometimes. And I practice very well at it. No. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I don't feel like it. Nah, you'll be fine. And no. The thing is, you have to underpromise others instead of overpromising. And I was overpromising because I wanted to please everyone and help them in every way I can possible. But with that said, I end up neglecting my priorities in life, which is caregiving for my mom, my full-time job. I also find that I'm trying to do everything at once and I'm neglecting my relationship that I'm in. So I just don't want to, a better phrase to say is, I don't want to half-ass it. You know what I mean? And if you're trying to do everything and trying to help everyone at once, then yeah, you're gonna half-ass it somewhere. I do not tell myself that I can't, because that just leads me into a spiraling path of just not doing the things that I've said out loud that I can't. Instead, I use the words I will, because I know I can do better. I'm improving myself on a daily basis. I'm always looking for the positive in things, and even if it's something negative and something I just don't feel like doing, but I know it's good for me, you know, I have to use the words I will. I will get that done. I will do that tomorrow. I will do that right now. It sounds a lot, promising. And that's all we want to do, is be good to ourselves and be good to others. In times of high stress, I pray. And that seems to be better than me just popping pills. I was popping pills for my anxiety and depression, and that's just not a healthy thing to keep doing on a long-term basis. Now, a short-term, some people need it, and that's okay. When you're in an acute level of chronic anxiety, it can disable you. But now I have really found some great scriptures and things that are putting on the armor of God. And because I can hear better, right? Because clarity of fasting, I pray. When I have my panic attacks or I feel something coming on, I know that God is not the author of confusion. And I got that from my girlfriend, because she's a pastor and she's fantastic. Lisa, thank you. And that's what I call the anxiety buster. God. Talk to him. It's a good thing. I gotta stop right here, because one thing I notice about turning 50 is that I don't remember. Memory gets shot, and sometimes my short-term memory is gone. But how do you do that? Write everything down. If I don't write it down, I don't remember, and that is pitiful. Or, I call that a senior moment, and it'll come back eventually. It's just that I'm trying to catch the words that I need to say right now on video, and I'm having a senior moment. The other thing I do for my spiritual and mental health is take quite a few breaks and have social media cleansings. So if that means shut down Instagram, shut down Facebook, and I don't mean literally shut it down. I just mean that I'm not going on it for a day or two, and just taking a mental break so I can replenish my juices. You know what I mean? Because you're constantly consuming information, you're reaching out to people in social media, and it's becoming a very isolating activity. And you are always in a position where you can get depressed, you can get more anxiety of what you're looking at. And I just think it's good. You need to take the break from social media. So that's what I do. Back to things that I eat, and what do I eat while I'm intermittent fasting? When you look at the macros, we talked about macros, fat, protein, and carbs. And that is my whole map of what I do on a daily basis when I eat my 1 meal a day, or when I'm doing an extended fast and I'm about to break the fast, I ease into it slowly, like bone broth. I would ease into actually eating whole foods, and that usually consists of maybe some soup, and then ease into maybe of some fish and a vegetable. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. So with the protein, which I just mentioned about the fish, I eat fish, red meat, turkey, and I eat almonds. But I do eat a little bit of chicken, but I don't know, there's something about that bird is bothering me. I think because if I don't get a really organic chicken that came from, you know, like Whole Foods or somewhere that I know that the chickens have been treated well, something about all those hormones in the chicken that's being pumped up with, it just didn't do me well. And I've seen myself bloat up after I've had chicken the next day. I gained weight. I don't know. It's something about the bird. It just is, y'all. What are you doing? In the carbs segment of my macros, I don't eat a lot, but I do eat a lot of vegetables, and that is a carb, right? I eat lots of vegetables, and that's like tomatoes, greens, you know, spinach, leafy greens, red onions, I really love, peppers, cabbage, and then fruits. I do eat a little bit of that, which is watermelon or grapes or tangerines. I do have the occasional bread. I do have my pizza. I may have the bread with a burger if I felt really, you know, adventurous. I will do occasional pasta or rice, but I really cut all that out most of my week. So 5 days a week, I certainly am pretty strict about what carbs I'm going to eat. And then the fats, yes. That would be avocados, my olive oil, I cook with it. I put it on my protein and in my vegetables for salad dressing. Also cheese, I love every kind of cheese there is. And I do have to be careful of that because you can get constipated. Yes, you can, but you can check out my video if you feel that way on doing a salt flush, and that'll, you know, make everything run smooth. I do have snacks and treats within my eating window, which is about 2 hours. On the weekends, it may be 4 to 6 hours, depending on, you know, if I have an event. So that's one thing I can say. I'm being a little more flexible to myself in my eating meal plan on the weekends, because it's just too stressful to try and sustain that 24/7. My snacks or my treats is dark chocolate, which I almost eat a little bit of that every night. And let's see, alcoholic beverages are considered a snack or a treat, which are like Prosecco, which is really only on the weekend, and I'm pretty good about that, and I've even been thinking about quitting altogether, just not yet. And tortilla chips, I love those tortilla chips, you know, the blue corn tortilla chips, so I do eat those. I can end up binging, and yes, I've done videos on that because that's the ugly side of my fasting. If I went too extreme on the fasting and I end up binging the next day or something like that, and usually I'm going for the tortilla chips and eat. About some of those changes, I do want to add on the over 50 series because it pertains to what I'm going through in life now and all the funny things that happen when you're trying to maintain your body and your spirit and your health, but also just new things that we can share with each other. And in those over 50 series, I'm going to do something special as well. Is if you have a question for me pertaining to caregiving, pertaining to fasting, or pertaining to just living, then I am going to put those questions together and answer them in a video or two. If you have a lot of questions for me, I'll make sure I'll get to them. So please leave a comment and shoot away. You can ask me anything personal. You can ask me, well, almost everything personal. And don't forget, caregiving begins with you. Bye. I'm 50? What? I'm a half a century. Oh my God.